Okay. Morning, everyone. Thank you for your patience and everyone freely giving out their time and volunteering and pitching in, because I think we all know that this is an important thing that we're doing. All right, so I think you all know me. I teach at NLS College. Taught many of you coming from far. Been in school with, actually, I think I've taught. Well, I thought that I teach Camille, but yeah, my age. But I'm a visual artist for the benefit of those online, and I have recently I recently started. Well, it's not too recent, maybe 2 years now. An initiative called DAK'ART Projects, and the reasoning for that is manifold. Partially inspired by the work that NLS Kingston was doing, and also partially inspired by my experience at Caribbean Linked in Aruba, a residency put on, I think, by Holly Bino, Anna Louise, and Atelier 89. So that really led me to think of kind of what the artist does in a more active way, and thinking about what I could do as an artist to kind of contribute and build my community. And so I identified documentation, particularly in videos and media online, as a kind of a focus of mine, and have since done that. We have a YouTube channel, which I encourage you to check out. We have gone with I look at some artists, Alicia Brown, Leasho Johnson, and also we maintain a Facebook page, an Instagram page, where we try to promote what's happening in the contemporary art scene. We have also worked on curatorial projects and have had the success of collaborating with Art Shape Mama in the US to bounce a show in Brooklyn, New York. All right, and so I think that is as much as I can say about DAK'ART. We want to grow, we want to build. But Right After Art School is a presentation that I think has been long overdue. Or I don't know if it's ever been attempted. We did attempt to do it at the NLS College under Omar Riba's painting seminar series, and I want to link what this is with that first attempt. All right, I want to introduce also our participants for today. We have Nicole Smythe-Johnson, independent curator and writer, and currently editor of the Inquiry Quarterly, right? Linked to UE. And we have Deborah Caroll Anzinger, visual artist and co-director of NLS. We have Leasho Johnson, active visual artist and designer, who is just about to go off and do his MFA at School of the Art Institute, Chicago. There, yeah. And Camille Chedda, who is the project coordinator for the Rubis InPulse Art Project, as well as a visual artist and lecturer at the NLS College. All right, so now I'll hand over to our first presenter, Nicole Smythe-Johnson, who's going to be talking about the artist's docket.
Hi guys. So in your handout on, I think, page 3, you can follow along. Most of this information is there, so I'll just try to expand a bit. It's only 5 minutes. So, okay, so the artist docket. So these are the things that you want to make sure to prepare once you've left school, and keep them updated all the time. And also make them available, but we'll get to that a little bit later. So for your artist statement, I had showed this to Oneika and she pointed out to me that you want to start from the beginning. You really want to make sure that the grammar is good and there's no spelling mistakes, right? If that's not something you're terribly confident about, I would recommend finding somebody who you know is, even if it's a lecturer. I know that NLS does have fairly regular critique sessions and those kinds of things. So finding that kind of avenue where somebody can have a look at it for you and give you some feedback on it. But what you want to get in your artist statement is you want to think about your practice overall to some extent and think about the things that you keep returning to. So I'm sure throughout school or throughout the period that you've been making art, there are a set of preoccupations or a set of ideas or media, ways of working. It can be anything. It doesn't have to be an idea. It can be how you work. And you want to give some sense of that in your artist statement and connect that in some way. You want to give the reader some way in. The artist statement is, a lot of artists don't take it terribly seriously and like make it either really uselessly speaky spokey or a sort of comedic thing. But it's actually really valuable for a curator. The first time that I look at your work, if you have a good artist statement, just the other day, I did a session with Oneika where she was asking me to talk about different artists. And a lot of what helps in that kind of setting, you might have a reading of an artist. So if the artist hasn't given you any sense of how they talk about themselves, then you have no choice but to run exclusively with your reading, which can be a good thing, but can also leave out important information that you want to include about the work. So you don't want it to be a super long thing. The artist statement usually is between 300 words-ish to a page. Different kinds of organizations or settings will require different kinds of statements. So just pay attention and they usually say what they want. You can just have a general one that you write. As I said, I would recommend having a paragraph one and a page long one that you can then kind of play around with whatever the setting is. Your bio. Again, just don't make it really jokey and ridiculous. It's really hard for curators when we're trying to find information about your work or to suggest you for something and we can't tell if you're under 30 or where you're based or things like that. And then we have to hunt you down and then you don't answer your email and then I just drop you off the list because I couldn't get in touch with you. That's how that works. So spare almost trouble by having a good artist statement and a good bio. Your portfolio. The really important thing I want to say about this is do not put everything that you have ever made into your portfolio. That's not what your portfolio is for. You want to take out, in some sense, your best work. If you can organize a portfolio, I mean, as you're practicing longer, this will probably be more valuable, but into bodies of work, then that will be really, that's really helpful. I think Deborah does this quite well on her website, so you can take a look at that and see what I mean by bodies of work. But at any given time, you might be thinking about certain ideas and generate a set of work, maybe that you often exhibit together. And you can say that a body of work. You could even have little mini statements for each body of work. By a mini statement, I mean, can be 1-2 sentences, right? But just to say, this is what I do overall, and this is what I was doing with this set of work, and this is what I was doing with this set of work, and again, it makes it really easy for somebody like me or a writer who has taken an interest in your work and would like to write about it to get access to that. And that's really important for you as an artist to kind of get word about your work around people who are looking about residencies and that kind of thing. And the residencies are nomination only, so having that information here is really important. Oh, and Deborah will talk about this later, but you really want to get good quality documentation of your work, because if you have a portfolio, you may have amazing work, but if it's not well documented, I can't tell that it's amazing work or anybody else. So if you can hire a photographer or even set up some kind of chart assistant with a photographer you went to school with or something like that, a friend, is how a lot of people do it, you know, make them dinner or something, or take them out for a drink and ask them to photograph your work or offer to do something in exchange for them. For your CV, you don't want a lot of bells and whistles here. I actually tend to think that for the artist CV, black and white is good. a simple font, Times New Roman, Helvetica, Arial, something like that, not too fancy. And on there, as it says here, you want to have listed your education, your professional experience, if you have relevant experience that's not exhibiting, for example. Like Camille doing the coordinating the InPulse project. That might be something that you put in your professional experience. That may not be an exhibition or a residency, but is still relevant to your art practice. The exhibition history, fellowships, residencies, awards, publications, and then you can also put references. My recommendation is that you identify maybe 3 to 4 people who are always a reference. If you're doing your job as an artist, you'll be constantly applying for things. And so if there are people who know that they're kind of on your list as their reference from before, they don't have to run around looking for references every time something comes up. So you want to kind of just develop relationships with an eye to that down the line, and just keep their contact information updated and let them know. Also, every time you put them in as a reference, even if you have a long-standing arrangement with them where they know, you will often do that. Send them an email and be like, put in as a reference for this, or, find out whether they prefer to know beforehand or whatever. And work that all out. And then the other thing that I want to say is, do a website, it's worth it. You don't have to pay a whole lot of money to do one. If you're going to do a website on Tumblr or through one of the free things, if you can't get your own domain name yet or anything like that, then fine. Just do the long domain names they give you for free and do a bit name. You put that at the bottom of your email, right? Just make sure that it's searchable. Again, because when a curator or a writer or somebody who's involved in art as arts administrator is looking for you, they may not have access to your email right away. You may have changed email, you may be traveling or whatever, and not get back to them soon enough. If you have a website where all of this stuff is on there and it's regularly updated, then I can go and pull that information from the website and able to get in touch with you. And that makes my life easier, and you make my life easier. I'm more likely to include you in whatever I'm doing. It's the unfortunate truth. Pragmatics matter. So yeah, other things that you can put on your website, videos or talks that you've done, additional documentation that you may not have included in your portfolio because the portfolio is carefully edited, right? So you don't have everything in there. But a lot of the stuff that you don't include there, you can put in on the website. Oh, a fellowship. Oh, I guess I should break down some of these. Okay, so a fellowship, I'm sure you've heard of residencies, and those can take many different forms. A fellowship is slightly different. In a fellowship setup, you're pretty much paid to do research. So it can be artistic research, or it can be research, archival research, depending on the field or area. But the idea is that your expenses are supported so that you can generate research for a period of time. They're usually attached to some kind of academic institution that values research in that way. And what you want to think about in getting involved in a fellowship is making sure that whatever you're generating is going to be useful moving forward. So I did it says in Access Curatorial Fellowship a year ago or so. And if you go up online and you search Closing Access Fellowship, you'll find the things that are out there. I went to different places, I did research about the place and their art scene. So it might be interesting to you if you're interested in making it across the region or taking part in artistic activities elsewhere. And then I wrote about them and published them under the name of the person who had given me the fellowship. So it's sort of like a mini research degree situation, but on a shorter term, so the fellowship is. Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay. Okay, so I guess I should interject. We have a long menu of things for you, and we will have a Q&A at the end. So please do send questions. Leasho will be talking particularly about portfolio sharing tools.
And Leasho is next, so
yes.
Good morning, everybody. I don't know if you can actually see this. So, alright.
You don't want to open it.
Yeah. So, alright. So, so there are different ways to get to a website. I have listed a couple for myself. Sitebuilder.com, and everything is kind of research based. Because what I've realized is to build a website for yourself, which first when I wanted a website, I thought I had to get somebody to build it. But how things are now, you can actually just go online and lay one out yourself. All you need is your own content. You need your own, you need your own name. Like, we need all the stuff that Nicole discussed. You need a statement, you can put a CV on it, and of course, you need to pick out the best representation for your work to on the website. Because what a website really is, it's like a mini show. Think of it as first contact for a lot of people who, probably never come to your show before. And it's a statement within itself, as in how it's laid out. That's something I mean, I kind of come from a design background, so I have a kind of like a business idea of what kind of layout works with my work. But that is something that you can always decide. What best, is it, a big image for the person, like what you call it, a slideshow, something like that, or a small framed one. It all depends on kind of like how you want people to proceed with it. Because it's really the first point of presentation, which is key. That already. Doesn't come back to your work. Sitebuilder.com is one. Site 123. WordPress, web.com, GoDaddy.com. The challenge, what I've realized with most of these boards is that you need a credit card. But as Nicole was explaining before, there's some that they offer a free domain. And even though it has an extension, you can still, use it for a little while. Wix, I want to say Wix is the next one, www.ix.com. My favorite part about Wix is that it reminds me of the program that I work on. So it was easy to kind of design, and you don't need any programming, anything. You just need it. Yeah, I just build it and it comes together. Well, I was going to step into that. Social media, and it's like Tumblr is really social media. But I said the holy grail is always Instagram. And funny enough, like how things are operating now, that's usually the first place where a lot of people see your stuff. They don't see it on your website. Website is kind of like the icing on it. It's like saying, oh, you're really established. It's not a website, but really actually social media, Facebook, Instagram, create a Facebook page for your art. Create an Instagram page that doesn't include a lot of, selfies and stuff. Just something that's geared towards art. And you can include events and stuff like that. I think that is very, very important. Alright, so this is oh, yes. I think here I was just kind of showing you the basic pages. One of the best things about the artist website, it doesn't need to have a lot of it. So mine only has 3 basic buttons at the top. So where that logo is like what it would really be in me. I think I created that logo for my final year show, and it kind of just stuck with me. So I just kept it. Basically, I have 3 buttons: about, work. So about just has like my artist statement at the top, and it has the CV underneath, and that's just one page. If we go on work. Oh, go back up. work has just, vignettes of samples of works that I've done. And each one of them contains documentation. So I didn't really look into my realize that I didn't look into it, but when I click into one of these artworks, it gives you a couple of angles from, of the artwork and dimensions and what it's made of. Stuff that you put in a catalog, really. And then if we go on contact, which I find, even though I find stupid, but people still do use this format to make contact with me, and it comes straight to my Gmail because this is our Wix website. The good thing with Wix is that it's Google based, so anything you can see from Google based. Yeah, WIX. Yeah. So this. Yeah. So Instagram is the next thing. Pointing out how the benefits of Instagram I was talking about. A lot of people contact me about buying work, and that's actually something I wanted to say. The website shouldn't be geared towards buying work. It's just geared towards presenting yourself. Yeah, it's like curating. So it's like you have to kind of think about which best work represents you, and you can't put everybody. Just pick the ones that you think look really good at it. And the further along it builds up, you realize even some that you've done before, that work will be done and you kind of put them aside for next situation. Sometimes even though you have a website and you're applying for things, people will ask you to kind of upload photos of works for the application. And it doesn't have to be like works that you have on the website. It can be something else that you're probably part of, but doesn't represent the same way. And the next thing we have on our website, and this is constantly update however you can, because one of the challenges is that when it becomes static, people automatically don't do anything. And it's the same thing with Instagram too. And you realize that if you have an audience, it's kind of good to kind of just keep them focused, engaged in something. Sometimes I post pictures of works, sometimes complete works. But I've realized in a lot of situations like where artists are working with like a space or an exhibition, you can't put the work up, or it's best to put the work up after it's shown. Afterward, yeah. And just kind of post process. Process is also quite important. So it's good to document process. And some artists actually put process on their website. It just depends on how you want to work. Is it important to hold the final work from home and stuff like that. And so every time it's on a website, kind of think you have to be aware of the work in terms of how it's created, how we want it to be presented, and so on and so forth. Next. Oh, I have a Facebook page, right? This is actually, personally, I don't really like Facebook so much anymore. I can say that a lot of people are kind of falling off. But yeah, it's cool. And everybody has their own reason. I think for me, it's just rooting through the clutter. It's very cluttered. But it's good to have one. If you want. So that's kind of like this kind of how I talk about engaging our audience. Especially when I want to engage our audience outside of it. Because you realize, like, yes, a lot of people, YouTube, but most people communicate to you. You inspire other people who are looking for stuff outside of your own space. And that's the space that everybody goes to. So, it's something that you naturally take lightly.
Can I ask you about how you use a newsletter? Do you use one?
I do one newsletter. But one of my challenges with newsletters is that, and it's just a modern it falls. Sometimes I get a newsletter and it goes straight to a blog, or it goes into a section that's editorial. I don't know where you categorize it. So promotion. So that's if you're going to use a newsletter, my advice is you don't send it to like use Mailchimp. Sure. Yeah, you should. Yeah, you have opportunities. But my thing is, I would take it out of, you can actually copy it outside of the facility. Because I think as an artist and not as an institution, is people like the whole first person correspondence. So if you're going to send somebody that it comes directly to you and say, upload.
Okay, thank you, Rachel. So we're going to be talking now about studio practice, which is like we're talking about with Deborah, myself. Mr. Kwan? Organizational systems, yes. Yes, with the newsletter. Right. And then we'll talk about studio practice.
I printed out a handout as well as Nicole. The part that I gave you is the only way to get answers to these staff questions. So most of what I'm talking about is what that right there is really the premise of everything. But just to touch on what Leasho said about the newsletter, it's true when you use Mailchimp, it does go to your Gmail promotions. But the positive side is that most people now check their email on their phones. So even if it gets filed like that on the desktop or the laptop, it's on the phone, it will still come up in the person's email, so they're more likely to get it. And it will say that it's coming straight from you if that's the setting that you have it on, right? The newsletter, I think, is important for doing a lot of the things Leasho said that the website does, which is to set the tone about how your work is read. You are the one who determines whether your newsletter going to be very promotion based, where you're talking about just the shows that you're doing or photographs of the exhibitions, or are you going to actually use your newsletter to do some of the things that Nicole mentioned, which is to get people familiar with the thought process behind your work as well as some of the studio shots. So these are things that a newsletter is important for, because when you do the documentation, which I'm going to talk about, the newsletter can be an outlet to get people to the website where they can get more information, or even get into a third-party publication. Maybe a curator or a writer wrote an article about your work. Maybe there's some other, journal or something that has. It's a way to get people, direct people there for more information and a better understanding of your work. So I personally like to not have an email be very salesy, a newsletter be very salesy, but more like knowledge based about your work. So for documentation, I think the main thing about documentation is most important thing is to document even when you don't think it's important. I mean, you don't think your work is relevant, and you don't think anybody will ever care. No, seriously. You think that maybe you're at an awkward phase. Maybe you think that you don't know how this is going to fit into the work 10 years from now, 15 years from now. You still need to be documenting the moment. Most people's cell phones have good enough resolution for internal documents. So there are two kinds of documents, several kinds of documents. You have the documentation just for yourself and the process, right? Where you really want to keep. I feel like you want to, in your studio practice, you may have had some kind of breakthrough process moment. You want to document that moment. You may want to keep it around somewhere in the studio so that you can sort of bounce off of that. And then you went to that, most times your cell phone is good enough, or even if you have a point and shoot or something, you can use that. But then you also have the documentation, which is what Nicole, I think, touched on, and also Leasho, which is going to be more publication grade documentation. But Nicole said, which I also have in the printout that I gave you, is that if you do not have your own camera, maybe you have a good camera, but you don't have a good lens. These are not things to pretend that you don't need anybody or any help about, right? This is stuff that if you act as if you have too much pride in the moment, then in the end, 5 years, 10 years from now, when you really wish that you had good documentation, it's too late. It's too late. Sometimes you don't have to work anymore, but it was an important point in your process. Maybe sometime later, someone's going to want to do a retrospective, or someone is going to want to talk about your work from the development. Our writers going to want to talk about your work from a development point of view. Then they don't have anything to So your history is lost. Basic things, keep an external hard drive, invest in an external hard drive that you will have the work saved on in addition to your laptop, especially if you're not really so secure about the condition of your laptop. Then invest in an external hard drive, keep it updated. The labeling goes back to some of the things that I say in this printout, which is a lot of it is what models are we looking at in terms of documenting and archiving the work. Now, there are so many artists doing things in their own way. And so I don't really want to say that there's a right way or a wrong way, but what I will say is that you need to identify the artist who you think is an appropriate model for you based on what it is that you're interested in, and really look at what kinds of milestones they've been able to achieve. Even if you don't know them up close in person, there are so many ways to get familiar with a person's practice and career via the internet. And you want to look at how they're labeling their work, how they're documenting their work, how they're labeling it. And then other than that, when you're applying to things like residencies, art school, every institution that you apply to is going to have a slightly different way that they want you to label your work. And my strongest recommendation to you is to look at what they're asking and follow the instructions. Strictly follow the instructions. Same thing with cataloging. As I said, get yourself an external hard drive, save your things, save them in the appropriate folders. I don't have my hard drive. I was going to actually connect my hard drive and show just even an example of how it's organized, but just keep it as organized as possible. A folder for 2015 studio, 2016 studio, 2017 studio, and then you have 2015 exhibitions. That's all of your installation photos from the 2016 exhibition. But I keep the studio photos separate from the exhibition photos because it helps me, and also when I'm going to, and also for example 2016 applications versus 2017 applications. You will be surprised how much you can learn about yourself and your development if you do that. Because you look back at 2014 applications and you're like, wow, I've really developed the language around my work. And at the time you just feel so maligned, like you're not getting into the things that you're applying to, or maybe you just feel like you're not making any progress. But then when you look at things 2 years later, you look at 2012 compared to 2014 and you realize you really, and part of that is that you're not starting from scratch each time because you have the thing archived and cataloged, right? So you can go back to your 2012, what is it? I have more distance now. What is it that I could have really said more clearly about my practice that I did not really explain, or what were my research points that I had that I really didn't get into, what areas were there questions that I feel like I have developed those questions even more clearly, right? You're not reinventing the wheel each time when you have yourself properly archived. You can just develop incrementally and iteratively. Okay, do you think that's enough? That's enough organizational assistance?
Yeah. I mean, I would show mine, but I don't think it would be your standard.
No, you can show No, it's all and even as I'm saying that, you get lost. And
No, but I think it's cool, but I realize it's also depends on your practice.
yes.
That's what I've realized from my own practice. Sometimes I read samples from that.
Right, but I think you keep I do some resampling, and there you also realize that some kind of like an index of symbols actually starts to emerge from your practice. That is, yes, it's a way to observe it from a little bit of a distance.
So here's I can just show you. I keep my studio work different from my studio admin, different from my portfolio, and here is the long list of things I've applied for, which just gives that a note, and the computer allows you to separate it into years. So I'm gonna skip that part, but I probably should. But you can see like biennial 2018, biennial 2016, biennial 2014.
Yes. Right. So to go into details on that, when for example I have my 2014 applications, when you go in there you would see like what you see right there for Oneika, which is like all of the places that I applied to, and then also so when you have the index of the images in those folders, when you're not applying to a new place in 2015 and they ask for the images, it's also very easy to go back and look which one do I want to edit out of that may maybe make the portfolio less tight, and is there anything new that I want to add? And also you're not starting from scratch when it comes to labeling the work with the sometimes they call it information. You don't want to have to all the year, the medium, everything is already there from the previous ones. You can just shift it around to the format that is specific.
So we're gonna do story then.
Studio, okay, so we're going on to the fourth section, which is studio practice. How are we on time?
We're at 11:07.
Okay, so we need to speed it down. Studio practice. I don't even know why I got assigned this section when this is really not my strong point here with storage and handling. Okay, all right. Okay, there are two ways I wanted to take this from with storage and handling. One, which is you've already made the work. What are you going to do with it? I'm really not a good example. You make the work. I don't know. For me, it's twofold, because I also make work generally, except for with a few exceptions, like the biennial project, which is just like actually a lot of the work I make, sculptural work, can actually live outside because of the materials that I'm using. So some things like the biennial project that's largely styrofoam, a lot of it can continue to live like as a garden sculpture or something because their plants actually grow. But in terms of having the work, the ability to store the work, there's that with being outdoors, but then there's also I make work that I tend to think of will be able to be stored easily, like modular work, right? So like I try to, if I'm working with glass or if I work on canvas with like sculptural elements on the canvas, I tend to make the elements detachable so that I can take them off, roll the canvas, pack those small sculptural elements in a smaller box. A roll of canvas is relatively inexpensive to ship because that's basically like shipping it flat or whatever. But then the sculptural elements can go in a small box and send as also relatively inexpensive. If I am thinking about moving it around outside of Jamaica, these are things that, but then also in my own studio, my studio is smaller than NLS. So that means that I can only work on a couple large paintings at a time. And then when I'm finished with those, I have to be able to move them aside. So again, I can roll the canvas and then I can detach the sculptural elements and store them in a small area in the studio. And then multiple canvases can be rolled together on one tube. That's really, and that keeps them protected. I work with acrylic, so I don't work with oil, so having them rolled is not really going to compromise the integrity of the painting so much. Security, I'm not really sure what you mean by security. Yes.
So I want to know how much of you guys actually have to like move from basically experience of thinking. So did that basically didn't think so like I have a own basic? Well, that is something that I think I had to. It's almost like a practice had to hit that farmers and and that's always been a challenge. But luckily for me, I don't tend to stack up a lot of work. But one of the key things is that it's almost like everything about you sleep here, so your artwork sleep right beside you. You know what I mean? So that's something I think you just always have to be cognizant of. And because you don't live in a place that is your own, you always have to find some other method of kind of story work. And I think one of the safe way, which sometimes I think about them kind of class, but you know, I've always worked with canvas on a stretcher, so you keep it on a stretcher all the time. You know, you don't put anything against it. You wrap it with other materials, and you start with somebody safe that doesn't have a lot of traffic and stuff like that. And that's something like when I'm even trying to find an apartment, that's something I have to keep as when you're doing pieces that are big, like I try to, you know, like the bottom piece that I did that was stored. That's just a collection of a lot of things. So I have to find a way of, you know, living with it, storing with it, working. Because sometimes you have to create a big piece in a very small space. That is some another approach. I have to, you know, small pieces go together. So that's just kind of like surviving, living, you know, for the landlord kind of business. So that's something that you want to continue on, that is something that we want to do.
I think I'll add just quickly that for a lot of, it's good for you to know that for a lot of people locally, they themselves don't know how to handle their work. You're probably the one that knows the most locally how to handle your work. And you probably will have to end up informing or educating people. From my own experience, I've had several paintings that were in galleries and damaged, and I have to restore and educate people on how to, you know, store things as Leasho was talking about. So please bear in mind.
What do you have in mind about security? Because as like Leasho, I basically live with my work. I live in a very, I don't live in a big place. I live with other people, in my family, and Leasho keeps his work stacked. I roll mine, and I have several rolls with canvases on it. Again, it's modeled the way that I work, so they can. So in terms of security, so I don't really have to worry about security in storage because the work is stored at home. I don't pay for storage elsewhere. So
I think I was thinking that, for example, you work with glass and mirrors.
Yeah.
How do you ensure that that is kind of safe and easily accessible because you prepare it for shipping, and also ensure there is a lack of theft,
right,
which is a problem.
right. Yeah, I haven't dealt with theft yet. Hopefully never. But in terms of packaging, the internet is a huge resource. That's how I learned how to pack my mirrors without breaking them. They ship via FedEx, they ship via DHL. That is how, I mean, people who regularly ship glasses, people are very generous with information on YouTube, and we'll show you an entire video of how to pack like a little glass thing on YouTube. And the main thing for me specifically with glass is that once you pack it, when you shake it, you're not supposed to feel anything shaking, any movement at all in there. So, and you want to make the container, and this is, I guess, a general rule with shipping artwork in general. You want to make the container not exactly the size of the artwork and big enough to really accommodate quite a bit of padding and stuffing. The closer the container is to the size of the artwork, is really the less secure the artwork is going to be there, because you don't have all of that space to pad it up and everything. With somebody like Leasho who keeps his work stretched on canvas, that becomes an issue because the work isn't flat against the tube or whatever it is that you're rolling. So there's more of a chance of puncturing, so you definitely have to leave a lot of space to pad from both sides of the work. Sales and pricing, I do not, if you notice on the handout, the basic premise is that I go into things assuming that I do not know everything that I need to know about it. And then I go and I ask the questions and I find the answers. And so I do the same thing with my artwork. The price of your artwork is not something that's just going to remain static. It's something that might change, and you maybe don't even realize that the price of your artwork changed. And so you want to really be in conversation with, if you're working with a gallery, get advice from them about what the price should be, because they also have more of You may have your price that you ID your sentimental price for the artwork, or maybe you just don't even value your artwork enough, and but you have that price, and you may now speak to somebody who has more of a broad survey of other artists who are making similar work with a similar material, similar concerns, a similar point in their career, and as Nicole said, just in general, just similar experience level as you. But I think it's more than that, but just the point that you are in your practice, right? Like how developed you are, all of that, how articulate you are about your concerns, all of those things feed into the price. And then, of course, just generally, the main thing that they will tell you is just what the market is, what the market will pay for the price. I generally don't get involved with that. Leasho can talk about that, but once you start having a market where you work like collectors, once that first person buys a work at the particular price and that work is of a particular, size and nature, you really don't want to fluctuate around too drastically with the price of the other works that are similar, because once that there are negative repercussions about that, because if somebody comes along and wants to buy a similar work, and you're charging them a ton, and the other person just bought that yesterday and they were charging a different price, or maybe you're charging them too little and the person yesterday paid more. That's obviously not going to be good for you as a professional. But Leasho will talk more about that.
All right. I have one first question. Oh, has anybody sold anything on it? Yeah. How do I start? When the first piece of you have, I think for me, what I try to do is I try to visualize a number. And if you when you do sell work, it's also important for you to have. So, if the size and everything, put the price, just it somewhere, because it only grows, the more practice grows, the price and work grows. It's really hard to put a number. Really, really hard. But
It's like market research.
it's like market research and things like that. But you have to price yourself generously where people are interested. You can't price yourself all the time. And that can happen when you get too ambitious. Right? You can't just be selling artwork for 2 years and selling something else. I think that can ruin your career projection. So the first price, the price you put on the first at work that you're gonna put out, I think that's very good, because if someone is, someone eye you, and that's next thing, you keep your collectors close. People who collect and constantly ask you if you have anything, you keep those in your book, wherever you keep up names.
That's why I think the newsletter is also important.
Yeah, in that way. But you see, they always reach out to you. It's usually when you're in the middle of preparing for something, that's when you say, "Oh, do you have anything available? Or can you send me a list of works?" It's usually at that point. And next thing I'm gonna keenly advise you guys. When someone comes to your practice or comes to your studio, they say, "Oh, no, come to studio visit." If they're collecting, they're gonna come there to collect. One of the biggest challenges with that is it catches you off guard, because you know that you're a very bad salesperson. And what they want to do, they want to buy it at a very low price. And yeah. So what I've discovered is good to put somebody into you. So if you have somebody who can represent you in terms of selling your work, that's a good way to kind of, it creates a distance, and it also makes it a lot more, it's that word you're looking for. Where, you have a good, you don't overprice one day and underprice next day. It kind of keeps it consistent. And that helps to build a profile as an artist, which is extremely important. Because that's where all this comes together. That's where your value comes. It's the amount of stuff you've done over the years. The important projects that you've taken part in. How critical the work is. That adds to it, and it goes up.
Yes, you reminded me about something, which is in terms of sales and pricing. If you're dealing with somebody And of course, I only recommend the best. I only recommend that you deal with the best people who, in terms of what Leasho is saying, that would sell your work. I only hope that you deal with scrupulous people and people who are well informed and people who may not have a focus on scholarship but don't shun scholarship, because you really want people who aren't just interested in your work as a product. You want people who are invested in you as an artist to be working with you. Because I really also, even though I got the sales and pricing thing, that's really, I don't recommend that when you're in your studio as an artist, that's what you're thinking about, is that sales and pricing. I recommend that you focus on the actual work, which is to, it's open, it's on.
I think I'll add as well is Leasho mentioned list of works. I think that's an important thing which adds on to the kind of documentation. Along with all of that stuff, you have to keep a record of what your work has sold for, and also kind of some provenance, right? So who it's sold to, when, through which avenues, and also photographs of the work attached to that, so that you can always revisit that or pass it on to any person. And if you are questioning, what I thought really personally is a lot of asking people who I trust and kind of look up to for their advice. So
On pricing.
on pricing. So there's times when I will admit that I don't have as much experience with maybe selling a certain size of work, and somebody says quickly, as Leasho said, you give me this price, and that kind of throws you off guard. But then it helps to kind of check with people who you are selling. So if you know that, let's say Leasho is selling certain drawings and you're selling drawings, it might help to ask, when you were at this stage, what did you start at, and you kind of also compare with other people, get a kind of average.
The thing I don't want to say to though is that you don't want to take this stuff personally, right? The amount that your work sells for may or may not relate to the value of the work in a sort of broad sense, right? So for example, I read about somebody the other day, an artist, an older African American artist, she's in her 60s, I don't know what her name was, but she refused to sell work for a long time because the prices that people were offering, she didn't think that they were good, or they wanted to buy the work piece of, and she would want to sell it as a body or something. She's now in her 60s and her work is getting a lot of recognition belatedly. And it's very good for her because she was able to sell a whole body of work to Roma at the price that she wants, albeit after many, many years. So you have to be kind of smart in the long term about how you're negotiating your sales and how you approach it. So people may have, so the price that the market may be willing to pay for your work, which is dependent on a lot of things. People like paintings, for example. If you're doing a lot of video work and a lot of digital work, it's going to be hard to sell. Sometimes photography can be hard to sell, right? So there are little things like that that are based on your market, right? And so the work may not fetch a good price for whatever reason. People are not into abstraction right now, whatever. That has nothing to do with the value of your work or whether or not this is significant work, but it's just so it goes. You don't take that personally, you don't start to devalue your work or get in a bad place about it. You have to have a certain level of integrity about how you think about your practice and what you are doing, so that down the line you still feel you don't sell yourself cheaply. You understand what I'm saying?
Which I want to talk about self-care, right? Because that's the next thing. Because I actually think it has something to do with what you're saying.
But I want to put that in. I mean, I'll bring up some of this when it comes to the point of talking about representation and stuff like that later, but I just want to say it today.
I wanted to just say like really important point about not allowing the whole issue of pricing and sales to affect anything that you're doing.
Right. I'm glad that you bring that point back again, because as I said, I think when you're in the studio, that's not the time to be thinking about pricing and about sales is the time to be thinking about making the work that you is your best work. So to talk about what Nicole is saying, which is to not take it personally, etc. I wanted to focus the section that I'm supposed to end on here is self-care. And a big part of that is, the associations and friendships that we make, how the people around you practice this sort of self-sustenance so that you're able to feed your practice. And whether, because in some ways what Nicole is talking about is a rejection, right? Like people are not giving you that affirmation that you would ideally want for that work. How do you weather that and just get and keep working in the studio? And I think a lot of that is developing your own personal practices that are untethered to income or to any kind of production, and also income generation. That is, some people will say the best thing, some people will tell you that their ideal scenario, and of course, every artist wants to be able to, for their practice to also sustain it in terms of income. But if you're not at that place yet, as Nicole said, I would not recommend selling a bunch of your good artwork for very little money, so that you can, eat and try and find a way that you can get income, a job that you can then use to feed your practice. You will be able to buy your materials. It will buy you peace of mind when you know where your food is coming from next, where the rent is going to be made. You can, even if it's only like a studio apartment that you can rent, that's a studio apartment that you can make your work in. You know that you can go rent whatever it is that you need to get. You can get the transportation to go buy whatever it is that you need to go buy. Income generation, I do not think. I think a lot of times artists limit themselves by thinking that their income needs to come directly from their creative practice or their art. I think a lot of times that your art can be fed by whatever job it is that you decide that you're going to go and take that is outside of art. You're meeting people that are not artists, maybe. You're meeting people, all sorts of different people that can give you a perspective that is outside of the studio, that can give you a deeper understanding of some of the things that you're doing that can then come and feed your practice. And then you don't, if you, for example, say, and I'm not beating up on anybody who do crafts to make their work, but if you, for example, decide that you're going to sell sell some ceramics or sell some little sculptures that will help you to guide you to make the work that you really want to do. Think about how much work and creative energy you're putting into making those things. That is there going to be that creative energy left for your actual practice that you really think is your real practice? Or would your time better be spent making something that's going to generate more income and open it up to a wider community and a wider type of understanding that you can get put into your practice? I'm just saying there's several ways to think about income generation. It's not necessarily making low-end drawings of the drawings that you really want to make, or making, like, you understand that Leasho has worked other jobs. I have worked other jobs. Oneika, Camille, our faculty, Nicole. So there are ways. There are ways to make money that you feel you are also actually contributing to your community in a positive way. While also making money that you can use. And I think for self-care, that is an important aspect of self-care, but also, as I said, practices that are, I guess, more sustaining of you as a person, that again is tethered to your studio practice, something meditative, something that keeps you grounded in some way.
One of the ways that I can consider every time I think about the artwork I'm working on. So a lot of times I'm in the office just doing other people's jobs. Sometimes I go and I find inspiration or information, and I kind of document it. I have my own personal folder that people stuff that I put into my practice. And then when I have time either after work or on the weekends, that's when I spend time with people. So one of my skills is kind of compartmentalizing. So that is a skill that I think that's really important. I would definitely say there's no artist that I just started out or even anywhere, any part of the world. Because when I did my residency in England, most of the artists here were working either behind a food counter or an account or doing tours. But they still have to meet it because that's your get out ticket. Um, so the time you invest even outside the practice is vital to your practice, you know. And just it's also important for you to not give people the energy that you could invest in. So even a company like partner, you know, people will spend time that can affect how you feel about getting into the practice. And that's why it's always important to kind of know who you're spending time. Because those things, those smaller time that you spend outside the practice. You know what I mean? I think one of the best part of like when I was working was traveling and books. I would hang out with a lot of people and maybe pass that speaking. That feeds into my practice now. So, you know, every opportunity is really an opportunity. And it doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're teaching or if you're something else that's not easy, not as serious. Because that's the next thing. I consider painting to the other. And you know, we were talking about doing cheap works. I did tourist painting up to the point of 2012. I think that's when I decided to stop painting rock house and selling the tourists. But that rock house money always comes back into my practice. Because every time I sell out a couple rock house, I feel good that I use like $6. And it really adds to everything. It adds to the rent, it adds to the food, it adds to whatever money you want to spend on artwork, you know.
Which you also working on another job as well.
Yeah, I was also working as a designer, you know. But you know, what do you think is important? How much money is spent on versus how much money is spent on clothes, like you know, it's like a real business. Every time you spend money, every time you make money, the amount of put into your practice always comes back, you know. And then when you eventually produce something that's sold, usually does, you know, it usually, you know, adds back to the practice.
So, what do you think next?
Alright, thank you. So I think I'm a little bit in my bad. I would say my bad business person as an artist. In terms of what they should talk about budgeting and all of this. Are you guys hearing me? Yeah. Okay. So in terms of, for me, I have had artwork that has, I'll be honest, I have used my whole salary to create that work. I can't even think about like how much it's costing you. In a way, it's kind of weird to say that in a place like Jamaica. But assume that once I needed to make that inspiration, I have to find a way to support that. And so I'm talking about process, materials, ethics, and later on collaboration. I'm showing you a few of like the work that I made just out of art school. Well, not just, but maybe 2 years. I was working in at the National Gallery. And so that affected my work a lot. I had to find ways, just as everyone here is talking about, to keep making work, because what I decided was that if I'm going to get a job, right, most people have to get a job to support yourself. Oh, okay. Is that moving forward? Okay. Is that better? Yeah? All right. So I said if I'm going to get a job, I need it to be in the arts, because at least if I'm around the arts every day and I'm looking at paintings and people are bringing their work in, some kind of jealousy is going to burn inside, and I'm going to be inspired to do the work. So actually, this first work you're seeing, circa 2005, came from me kind of stealing a bit of photocopy time and just making some process work using books that were in the library and just making my own little paintings to kind of think things through. So what I want to kind of reinforce is that your first works or your first few years of work don't have to be kind of grandiose masterpiece type thing, this idea of a massive masterpiece. If you can kind of maintain that in our way. I was going through ideas, and bear in mind, when I left art school, I was making kind of work like Jordan, Kevin, the kind of large kind of canvases that to this day I cannot find storage for. These are about 8 by 10. Now, I started using a camera to make my work because I also had the challenge of no studio, right? So here Deborah is talking about the studio, but that sounds like a real luxury, even here. And so what I had at my disposal was a desktop, an actual desk, right? And my laptop. And so I would use that to make drawings, photography, and then try to use that with collage work. So even this one here by 2006, I was using just 8 by 10 kind of watercolor paper, making drawings that I could manage to do in my own time, putting them together and kind of reworking them to kind of find a way to sustain or to see what was interesting to me. And none of this stuff is kind of larger than what can hold in a folder. And that's actually a kind of strategy that I developed for me, is that I know that the work I make on this desktop, which I still use today, cannot be larger than what holds in a folder. However, that's not the end point of it. It is a part of the process. So later on, having noticed that this folder or the folders were growing in size, I decided that okay, I need to kind of challenge that, right? Because that can become a kind of formula which stifles the work as well. So I started trying to make cutouts. These are actual paper cutouts that I used to decorate gallery when I did a residency in Singapore. So they're really about this size, like a few inches high, but they're all over the gallery. And that started to be another kind of technique. Papers were affordable to me, and markers, things like that, are affordable. And so that became my strategy. So then, going on to 2009, I did have access to an apartment, but this is while I was in Japan studying. And so my drawings became larger, but I still found that it was easiest for me to keep working via using kind of paper, things that I could kind of easily access. And also at that time, David helped me purchase like iPad painting. And so I started working on the iPad as well. And here you see 2012 digital print. Later on, I started working in video because that became a way that I could kind of get away from the idea of making this thing which I might sell, because if you make something that is 8 by 10, it's like the perfect size, just as we were talking about before, to sell that, to earn money. But what became important for me is to keep a kind of portfolio for myself. I think it's important for all of you. Sketchbooks, journals, kind of your own materials, your own resources. I've seen artists sell pretty much everything in their sketchbook, which I think is kind of bankrupting for yourself. So please consider those things. And then also, as you know, I teach as well, so that I was full-time for a good while. I'm now part-time because I'm allowing the studio practice to take over a little bit more. However, what I want to say is find opportunities, any opportunity to make work. So make it almost an excuse in a way. So I decided about a year and a half ago to start doing the exercises that I was assigning to my students because if it could help them grow, then I could grow as well. So one in particular was the Rubis project. We're doing the experimental animation and I wanted to kind of show them an example of what the project could look like, and so I ended up making all these ink drawings, kind of setting myself a task of something I wanted to do a long time ago, which is to make a kind of a longer moving image work. So I started out with my interests, which I've always, said kind of you have to like painting as a starting place for engagement. So I started with the poses and then tried to revise that. And then I got something that was like this ink drawing, which I thought was maybe the most interesting one in the group. And so what I wanted to say is you kind of don't box the process and you kind of just allow it to develop, take it where it needs to go. And also push it, because I'm going to show you how this ink drawing has developed into something else. At the time when I was making the ink drawing, I had no idea about it. So that next to it on the right is a still from the video that it became. Then I decided, okay, I'll print the still and then I'll print it badly, or just ask people. But I think I keep that aesthetic of not necessarily having the best materials, but kind of make a material that are at hand that work in the way you want. So I use these inkjet drawings, try to modify it using tools that are available. And then also pushing it now. So like, okay, I was working on something that had a subject, and if I remove the subject, I'll get something else. And I feel like this is pushing it way beyond the idea of the ink drawing. But then still, you keep, instead of getting precious about it, you kind of keep seeing where it can go. Then you became these explorations digitally, which I've always enjoyed, like the digital. This is not something you should force. I mean, if you're not interested, you're not interested. If you work in drawing, and you work in painting, and you are engaged just as an on paint or whatever, that is just as, well, that's great. Just as relevant as anything else. So then it became this, I tried to push it to this point, and then I think in kind of being true to what I want to come out of it, I thought, okay, maybe I need to step back and keep going to a point where it has no relation to me at all. And then I think I brought it back to a point where it's now here, and the intention for something which is like a 5x7 drawing is now going to become something like a 1 yard by 1 yard long tapestry. Also something that I kind of just had intentions, didn't have intentions to do. And then just check that we're on. Right, so the last thing I wanted to talk about in this segment is ethics. Right, there's a group of you all know each other, you all graduating about the same time, and you're kind of out there going to be exploring. You're all kind of hungry for kind of new pathways. I want to encourage you to kind of respect each other's practices, to kind of respect other contemporary artists that are out there, and there are ways of sourcing things without kind of outside robbery, even though it's encouraged. There are also ways of kind of, no, it's encouraged. I mean, it's encouraged for artists, I think, to kind of, learn how to steal like an artist, right? So there's a way to steal, but not all of us kind of know the way to steal, right? Appropriation. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's a lot of appropriation myself. So who am I? But I want to also ask you to think about the contemporary art that's around you as people that are your contemporaries as well, even if it's in Japan or New York or wherever. Those are your contemporaries. And you should still have a kind of healthy distance from those practices. Even though what you will realize also is that because they're on the same place, you can find the same a lot of the imagery and things will start to emerge. A lot of things will reappear. And And I don't know, is there anything else anybody wants to add about ethics as an artist?
I feel like if you're really pulling from a source, be honest about the source that you're pulling from. I think that's when it really becomes an ethics question. Is that a lot of times people have references and they don't want to use those references. But there's this feeling that everything that you do must be novel, and that if it wasn't totally novel, then there's something to be ashamed of. Or maybe you just want to see maybe the idea of feeling like you're innovative or having to feel that you're innovative. But I think that when there's a lot of this honesty and just being honest with yourself about to what degree is this work being informed by this particular resource. Be honest about that in the artist statement. As Nicole said, you should have a long version of the artist statement and a short version, but there are also other opportunities outside of an artist statement. Somebody giving an interview and they ask you about what the references are. These are things that you should be cognizant of if you really, as Oneika said, you're sharing space with people, so a lot of the time you actually have shared references, which is why the work ends up sort of having this sort of convergent evolutionary work. The work might have similarities visually. It's not that one person is stealing from the other person. It's just convergence. It's just that you both have similar. But I think a lot of times people have influences by if it's your contemporary. I don't know. Think about doing your own homework instead of just sort of trying to look on a trend of what other people are doing. Yeah, because if somebody is your contemporary and you're pulling from them as a resource and a reference, they're pulling heavily from them. I don't know. I think maybe that's the time to really think about their process.
I was going to bring up something that Leasho to learn we went to DC and Leasho had an artist culture, and at the same time, Leasho made this work 2 years before, right? And at the same time, Caroll Walker came up with the sugar baby, and it was so similar to Leasho. It was ridiculous, right? It was like Leasho had a mini version of that. So I think in orange, right? And people were saying it. People were walking past the exhibition and like, "Oh, is this really the sugar baby or whatever?" But I think the reason why I bring that up is also to say that those overlaps are happening. Do not freak out about that. Sometimes it means that you're onto something. You're thinking about something interesting, and if you see a work that is, similar in ways that you're uncomfortable with, it might be a prompt to take the practice further in a certain kind of way. That overlap that you perceive might be an opportunity to think about why this figure is significant for you and this other artist, where is this artist from? And that itself and that set of questions can lead to further development as it did in the case of this particular work for Leasho. So some of that is just part of the course, and you have to get comfortable with it and develop strategies for using that information in a way that is valuable, rather than getting crazy money and just saying, it's too similar, people don't think, and this is not fair.
Or even some people respond by getting extra cagey about their work and not putting their work out there because they're like, oh, this is somebody to see that idea. Actually, maybe, I'm not saying that you should exercise some caution or reserve, but as Nicole said, another alternative is to actually possibly push a practice even in a more personal way, based on that research into the things that maybe are resonant issues. But then also, I just wanted to say regarding Leasho's art sculpture, I don't think people knew that was not a provision because it came up. It was the exact same time that the exhibition was up in New York at Leasho. So yes, you see it. So it's where there was no way for any kind of like appropriation or anything to happen. But it was crazy. How similar.
I think on a formal level for me, there are going to take elements or copy something. I remember once when I was having a conversation with a starting photographer, and I was starting a road where I was inspired. And I was telling someone that I was inspired by Annie. when you look at anti-capitalist practice, you can't see how artists are. But I know as an artist where. So that is also something. It's like if somebody's gonna give you, if you're gonna pay foreigners, like so that. Because when you pay foreigners, you like you are. You think that's kind of like, I think that's how it's going to be, especially when it comes to appropriation. Because you know, every artist, how artist works is unique and belongs to the artist. When you're gonna look at it, you know it only belongs to the artist, and there's only one way. And
unless that is your practice, is that you want to make your work. You decide probably
unless you have to do
somebody
somebody
else.
else's work.
That
Exactly.
might be your practice next level. But I mean,
But I think Camille had a lot to say about
Yes.
this now in developing a body of work or a research interest. That is what we should take on in the services. So I have just wanted to take the presentation to the point where a lot of you guys are now, which is something I finally reviewed at the wall that you're on board on. And I had the whole room for myself. And the next image was a projection that was in the same room of a piece called Project Facts and Outline. And these two works ended up being exhibited in a couple shows before I did that interview. We just kind of traveled. But that was locally, the one before was in materializing slavery, because here is like after myself. And this one was at the Oneika Art Center, which was an art center that Emily created called Public Identity Project to University of Kentucky. So my career already started, and actually this piece was in the DNL 2006, which was I risked myself and Martin Barton took in applying for my university. So we can do some working earlier. So I kind of started exhibiting and so after NL, right now I would have been preparing to go to France for this opportunity that the school had at the time to study for a month at the Conservatory of Contemporary Art, an American school that was in Italy, France. So this was kind of a good segue for me leaving the college and starting to figure out how to develop a lot of work and to kind of get this done from the institution as well and to start kind of finding my own voice. We had instructors, but we were kind of left to their devices. It was kind of like a bridge, like a residency, but we had instructors and we had people, they had colleagues and we discussed the work. So we had to go out of experimentation, out of ink drawings on foam materials, cardboard, all kinds of things. And at the end, we had an exhibition where confident making people on see what we do. So a lot of experimentation happened with that time. After that, like a lot of you, I'm not originally from Kingston, so I moved back to St. Louis and set up studio on the veranda floor, and my mother was there working on the second wall as two spaces. And in terms of developing a body of work, I had already been, I already had the habit of journaling. I always write down things that I'm thinking about. Also writing a piece is kind of, they're embedded into particular set of ideas, and I was just trying to address some of these things that came up while I was at ENA, and things that I just wanted to explore. And one of the things I found that happened was this sudden realization that you're on your own, you're doing this thing by yourself, you don't have Miss Russell, you don't have Miss Lovell, you don't have Miss Sarah, as people who are going to provide you with some references or resources. You should probably try this technique, and so you're suddenly alone, which in some ways is quite liberating because
yeah, you can do whatever you want. But it feels isolated, and I felt particularly isolated too because I was out of Kingston, and there I don't have any colleagues in St. Elizabeth that were also artists, so I had to deal with certain family members coming by and saying, why are you painting on plastic? Why don't you paint flowers? Why don't you do this? And so it was this constant battle between two, but at the same time that was good because it helped to make my ideas firm, my position on what I was doing quite firm. Yeah, that was just another space. And one of the things that I tend to do if I'm in a state of anxiety, that's a big self-care, if I'm unsure about what I'm doing, I'll read a lot of art history. I'll read artist bios, I'll read interviews by artists, local, contemporary, non-contemporary artists, just to get a sense that, oh, well, they've also have to deal with failure, they've also have to deal with rejection and uncertainty. One of the things that I distinctly remember when I was in St. Elizabeth working was this constant record playing over in my head about, Miss Marcy not going to like this, or, Dr. Watson won't find this way, or, like all these people were in my head. And so there's this quote by John Cage which says, when you start working, everybody's in your studio. The past, your friends, enemies, the art world, and above all, your own ideas. All are there. But as you continue painting, you start leaving one by one, and you're left completely alone. Then, if you're lucky, you can leave. So I find that to be a really good quote that can, liberate you out of this anxiety that you might have. So it just is something to remind you that you just need to keep working. Then I also watch a lot of art documentaries, interviews, things on YouTube, and sometimes not things that have anything to do with art either, just things that are quite informative, things that I might find useful for what I'm particularly focusing on, and just general history and things like that. Oh, and then I just added this morning. So I was thinking specifically about how do I develop a particular work. I know by now what the things are that I'm interested in, but which would be things like to deal with transatlantic slavery, legacy of slavery and colonialism in Jamaica and Caribbean and anywhere that has been colonized. So I did this piece for an exhibition called Inside the Personal Here that piece was in over here. And it's made up of drawings of people on plastic drawings, and it's all stacked on brick plates. But what everything is on top of is a concrete block, which at the time seemed almost just incidental. I just needed something to prop these figures on, and a concrete block was just outside, and I put them on there. But then in the next, I guess you can, the concrete blocks started to show more and more in my work. And then I started to think, what does it mean, and what more meaning can I bring to this thing? So this was a work I did in Haiti, so I guess it began around 2015, and it's made of cement that was poured into bags, but they're all stacked on top of concrete blocks in a kind of step pyramid format. So the concrete blocks kept returning in our work, and leading up to, I think I have to discuss residency next, because this is also a big segment. I started to research about concrete blocks and found all these things about substandard concrete blocks being made in Jamaica, and then also this dancehall phenomenon where women were using a brush to bash the blocks, or in this image, or still a man is stepping on her face. So I guess I can talk about wait. Actually, before I even go into residencies, one of the things that we were talking about was earning a living. And before I did my master's, which I had gotten a partial scholarship for, I realized I had to hustle. And so I did a lot of odd jobs. Fortunately for me, I went to art with a really amazing group of people, and everybody was quite serious about what they were doing. There's Marvin Bartley, who I used to work with as his photography assistant. So I used to get paid for coming into Kingston and doing being his assistant on photography jobs. I also did work in art departments for different films. This was for Get a Life that I was painting. Boom, logos, and wall art. Murals as well. There's a massive digital mural project on where the building now is. I think Kimani and I work on other jobs, other hustle jobs, but fortunately for me, I've always been able to work in my art related field. So I mean, honestly, the money is not that massive, but I was able to keep a living and save towards my master's by doing the art jobs. Okay, so skip all the way up here. So the next on the agenda was residency. So I was going to I'm speaking about art and the fantastic artist residency, which we talked about here. So I'm Art Omai alumni 2016. With Art Omai, you can only apply, or you can only do the residency once, but you can be invited to do the other thing. The application procedure, this isn't it is the application procedure for it. I don't know if you can read it, but they're very basic requirements, and I think if you develop an art topic, like Nicole was mentioning this morning, applying for residencies becomes really easy because you already have your artist statement, your CV, and your bio, which are three basic things that residencies and a lot of these institutions require for submissions. So those were three things that they required, and then they wanted images of my work, and they have specific ways that you need to do it, like they only want JPEGs at 72 dpi resolution, file size 1 megabyte for each image. Images must be titled with your last name, first name, 3, 4, 5. So it's not anything that's very difficult. You just need to spend time and focus on preparing these documents, because every residency or every institution will require slightly different things or formats. So, yes. Right. So, like I said, I don't think Art Online necessarily asked for a proposal. They just wanted certain, like the artist statement, CV, etc. But I knew what I wanted to do. So my project was to take all these images that I had collected from dance. I would find scattered around Mona, where all these dancehall flyers, like musical flyers, and I collected them. And then I also was doing research on the cinder blocks and then found this phenomenon. And so I printed all these images of these different acts that mostly women were doing in dancehall situations, whether it's burning the graphic fire or dancing with a cinder block. Sounds really ridiculous. So I knew that that's what I wanted to do. But we can just go through this. This is the residency. It's in a barn. Everybody has their own space. Next. And yeah, I had to look in number 13. Next. Residents share accommodation, so you have a roommate, and everything is taken care for you. Like your room is clean for you. You don't have to go out and buy groceries. You're fed. So there's a pool. You know, all these nice things. You're fed for the next image. I think. Yeah. Get all your meals prepared, lunch and dinner. You just and wine is always there with dinner. Always. Next. There's also with Art Oh My, there's the field at Oh My, which is basically their sculpture park, which houses a lot of artists' work. And it's on there's some things that are permanent and then some things are on rotation, maybe 2 to 5 years. You might see that sense. Next. Right. So this is the sculpture part on the left with the dog. That's the ponds at All Night, or the pond sculpture, I should say. And recently, Sheena Rose did a performance. She was reinvited to do a performance there. I think she did it last week. And then on the right is a piece by Richard known as Called Smoke. Nearby to Art Oh My is Jack Shaman Gallery, the school, which actually used to be a school. And it then became storage for Jack Shaman's gallery. By the way, Art Oh My is in upstate New York, so it's like a 4-hour train ride, I think, if I remember correctly. So this place used to be storage for Jack Shaman, but then it turned it into an actual gallery. So on the right, you can see a space that used to be the basketball court or something. So it's a big space. Next. And one of the things that I found very useful during our residency was going to see artwork, or in general, I find going to galleries and museums very important as a part of my life. Next. Massimo was also nearby. Next. And I saw this piece in Massimo, which is by Oneika Russell. It's a contemporary artist, but he was doing these pieces of looking back at particular things. So this work actually helps me in my process to figure out how can I deal with the figure with the concrete block, and I decided this structure was something that was going to be important to me because it also was a part of a lot of work that I was doing. A lot of the works that I did for my final year, they don't exist anymore. They've crumbled. They've had to throw them away because of the nature of the material. So this crumbling that's in this piece became, it's not material anymore for me. It's going to be something that I actually depict. So next. Also, you become hyper aware when you're in a residency because you're so caught up in your studio. So even this mock that was in my studio became something that I looked at as, oh wow, I can use this kind of fragmentation in my work. Next. One of the things that makes Oh My such a great residency is that we have an amazing list of critics, writers, directors of galleries, etc. come and you get maybe 5. You choose 5 out of this list of 30 people to have a studio visit with. Yes. And we had visitors like Natalie Angles from Residency Unlimited, and there's Dexter Wimberly from director of Albera speaking with me in our studio. Yes. This was a roundtable discussion with the founder of the residency, Greenberger. Next. That was my studio. Yes. And this was one of the final products of what I did on that residency. So you can kind of see, in a sense, how the idea developed from this image to something that I've made is my own, and also utilize the concrete block. And I had to grapple with ideas about how do I want to represent the body in this violent way, and these are things that I'm still grappling with. But yeah. So another thing, maybe you can see these, because I was also okay, so Transatlantic Artist Residency Exchange was a residency program, yes, that I did last year. I went to Scotland to a residency called Hospitality. Application material. It was a residency that was open to curators, curators, architects, and visual artists, focused on transatlantic relationships with the UK and the Caribbean region. I don't think this residency is operational anymore. You know,
That's correct.
Yes, that's correct. Okay. So, but these were the things I submitted. That was my online portfolio. I had to submit a portfolio index. I had to submit my CV as well as an application form next, which included in no more than 200 words, an artist statement, description of my work, and a summary of any overarching concerns. And then I also had to write a 1,000 words proposal, which at the time of submitting this was pretty easy for me to submit because I had already started to write a lot about my work. So I think that's one of the things that we need to develop a habit of doing, is journaling or just even typing up, you know, if you were a critic, how would you view your work? So